Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another fabulous, fantastic, and freezing cold Ask Engineer.
It's cold somewhere.
It is cold outside. It's me, Lady Ada, the engineer. With me is Mr. Lady Ada on camera control.
Hello.
And getting the questions ready for me. We have an exciting show tonight. We're broadcasting live from the Adafruit headquarters in downtown Manhattan, where we are furiously shipping your packages. So you'll see people like shipping packages in the background. It is getting to be the holiday season. We have an exciting show for you tonight.
That's right.
Mr. Lady Ada, tell them all about it, please.
All right, on tonight's show, Curtis Bluefruit, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. An epic show and tell. We're actually getting so many people that the room is getting full, so we had a full house. We will tell you all the amazing projects we saw. Mailbag, Pack and Mailbag will stop by. Adafruit Jobs Board, this is a place where makers find jobs and companies find makers to work those jobs. Got some news in open source hardware. It's happening. Adafruit Learning System, place to learn online and more. Got some time traveling, got some wearable electronics, got some 3D printing, we got Pi Day, and then we have a slew of new products. Whew. We're gonna answer your questions, a trivia question, all that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Yay!
Yeah, all right. Whew. So, the show and tell ran over a little bit, and so we'll run the show a couple minutes.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Cool. We're here.
All right.
We're rocking out.
So let's get this started. The code is Bluefruit. That gives you 10% off everything that's in stock in the Adafruit store right now, all the way up until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. A reminder, because we get asked this a lot, we take Bitcoin. We still do. We also have our current special, which is free Permaproda at $99 or more. Free UPS ground. Continental US, 200 or more.
Free.
So
these are our most popular freebies.
Yeah, right now they are. So every single weekly data, we have this thing called the show and tell. And hundreds of people around the world get an invite to show their projects.
You're about to ask me to talk about who was on the show and tell.
And it is like a maker fair, it is like a hacker space, a maker space, a tech shop, a show and tell all in one. And we also expanded it to you can show some retro tech. So we have a little bit of everything now.
Yeah.
So it's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday night. Get there early and just hit refresh. It's on our Google Plus page.
Yeah, get there early because once the Hangout software cannot have more than 9 people. So once you get to 9 people, it just won't let you in.
It's cool.
It's very frustrating.
It's a cool computer science problem. Like Google will have to figure out how to get like 20 HD streams.
Well, you know what though, with 20, actually, like too many people are like making noise. I mean, I understand why they're like 10 is a good number.
It is.
Get working with 10, maybe.
Okay, so what was on the show and tell?
Okay, we had actually so many people that one person dropped out and then another person came in. So we had more than usual. We had like 13 people or something today. Started out with Tony DeCola, Adafruit Northwest. He came in with some projects and retro tech. First up, he went to a garage sale and found a copy of Horowitz and Hill Revision 1, the first edition. It's a very old school. The cover is really beautiful though. And he said, even though the microcontroller section maybe is a little bit out of date, the overall analog section is still totally looking good, and it was only $3, which is a bargain because Horowitz and Hill is like $70. So you got a copy of H&H. So go to garage sale. You never know what you're going to find. He also showed off some projects he's going to be writing a tutorial for the FT232H board that he and I worked on. It's a sort of USB to I2C SPI GPIO board, kind of a cool chip from FTDI, and he's showing the I2C demo. He's going to be documenting that as well. So he just showed LEDs and sensors and stuff. So that's from Tony DeCola. He also showed off his cat, who's really cute, really adorable fuzzy cat. Known Pedro from Adafruit Southeast came by. They had a couple things to show off. First off, we sent them one of the Delta 3D printers that we'll be talking about soon, the Orion printer. It's beautiful, and it's a Delta printer, so it looks so cool. They had it streaming while we were talking about stuff. They also talked about this week's project, which is a Mario coin jewelry thing, little ding ding, little jewelry that makes sound and lights up. And also the 3D printed, and then not next week's, but then the week afterwards' project, which is a Raspberry Pi 8 Plus case. So they have a lot of stuff going on. Make sure to also tune in tomorrow to see Noah and Pedro and Matt on 3D Hangouts, Thursday, 3 p.m. for 3D. 333. Go check it out. All right, that was Adafruit team checking in. And now we have visitors. First up, we had James from Weaved, which is a program.
Yeah, that was neat.
That does push notification management, so you don't have to have proxies. So it takes push notifications from like a Raspberry Pi and then pushes it to your phone or to your email.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a intermediary push notification service. Look cool. Check it out. Weaved. I don't know if it's live yet. They said you can sign up now.
He's going to send a link to it, and we're going to post it up. If it's on Friday, it'll be Pi Day, but otherwise, just look for it on Adafruit. It'll be in the Internet of Things category when he sends it. It looks really great. Free trial for developers.
Yeah. So check it out. Looks cool. EGTA came by with was wearing his NeoPixel goggles from previous weeks where he had shown off projects, but he was showing off retro tech. He had an Apple II disk drive, a 5.25 inch disk drive, and it was like super heavy. He showed off the construction, the assembly, and like it looked like new. I mean, these machines were made so ruggedly, so well that 36 years later, like I'm sure it'll just boot up, and as long as the motor isn't gunked up, it'll just work. So you can run Paint Shop Pro on it. I don't know why exactly he has an Apple II disk drive. But
No, he said they were going to throw it away. And
from school.
And I, not all 36-year-old-ish things should be thrown away. Maybe some of them have useful. Maybe they have useful purposes. And one of the things I asked was, are you going to take it and put something else inside of it? You see a lot of enclosures,
like
retro enclosures, but he's going to keep it as is because it's in pristine condition. So I think that's kind of neat too, because probably one day someone will need that. They'll want to turn on this 50-year-old Mac or something.
What if you want to play Load Runner?
Yeah.
What do you need to get the diskette off? I mean, the diskette has to be good. Although I think Jason Scott said like 5.25 inch diskettes are like they're any that exist now, like they're demagnetized.
Okay.
So if you have anything important on a 5.25 inch diskette, get it off real soon because over time they demagnetize. Virgil came by with a donkey robot project in progress. He's making it for his was it granddaughter or daughter?
Oh, I
can't remember.
Someone he cares about.
For someone he cares about, it's a donkey robot that moves its head and plays a donkey serenade, and he's building it with an Arduino and servos, and he's learning a lot about microcontroller and electronics programming. So hopefully he'll come back and show it again once it's completed. Andy and the entire Pittsburgh microcontroller meetup at Tech Shop came by. There was like 12 people, so that makes it 24 people total on show and tell.
Yeah.
They just showed off the people. They were building an app inventor project with a Arduino and a NeoPixel strip to make a little tree, a NeoPixel tree.
Yeah. This was the Pittsburgh microcontroller meetup that they do
at Tech Shop.
that they do at Tech Shop. And
That's
for
right.
the folks who
Third Wednesday of every month.
Yeah, and it's free. You don't have to be a member.
That's right.
And for the folks out there who haven't heard of what a tech shop is, so it's like a makerspace, a hackerspace. It's all those things put together, and then also it's like a membership for like makers because you get access to all this equipment and things. So it's really cool, and it is I think one of the things that hopefully every major city will get, every smaller city, and then every neighborhood.
Yeah, it's like a hacker space for everyone. And they have really nice tools. They get like laser cutters and CNCs and 3D printers and like sweet things. And you pay for it for the year, but like it's like a gym for your hands and mind.
Yeah, and so special shout out to the Pittsburgh Microcontroller Meetup. In addition to all hacker spaces and maker spaces getting discounts, if you're a tech shop, you also have discounts, and tech shops can now get anything at Adafruit at reseller pricing. So anyone who's at a tech shop, talk to your local tech shop representative. You could order stuff through them.
And they'll stock it, or you can get.
Yeah, we just
anyway,
did. We added that. Yeah, I know.
Moving.
Sorry.
Let's keep moving.
Lots of information.
We're late already. Don't you rush me? I'm going to rush you.
Okay.
Brian was next. He had a Cambridge Hack Day. I guess he's in Cambridge, UK, not Cambridge, Massachusetts. And he showed off like 6 projects. First up, he made a little TFT badge that said, "Hello, my name is Brian." It had like kittens on it. And it was a TFT with a little micro Arduino in it. It was actually quite cute. Just displayed images. There was also an edge-lit card using NeoPixel strips. So it was a little acrylic etched card, and he had like a Christmas tree. And then he could swap it for a Raspberry Pi logo. So you could have little cards, and they have neat lighting effects because there's NeoPixel lighting. He also made a Pi robot, little rover bot with a Raspberry Pi and a camera. Also acrylic cut. There's a lot of acrylic in his project. He was really into the laser cutter. And then a Raspberry Pi with RGB matrix that could display animations. a very nice project. So it was playing a little video. So that was Brian's projects. Okay, and then next up, Ejo came in and had an IR thermometer sensor using a Alexis IR thermometer, and it had a little Arduino driving a quad LED 7-segment, show the temperature. And then he also made a version that used a low power RF module so that it could run for months. So he had like a version that had the display and it was like, there, and like you could see it. And there was also a version that was a radio remote version as well. And then finally, AJ came in and showed off a remote ham radio station using a TS480 so he can use the antenna. He has 30 miles away, but locally, so it's a little kind of a proxy relay for his ham radio rig that he has at a station or a shack 30 miles.
I described it as ham VPN, which I'm going to try to coin the term.
Which also sounds like a sandwich.
Ham VPN.
Ham VPN.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that was the show.
How do people add themselves to get on this crazy show and
If
tell?
you would like to be on the show and tell next week, please add yourself to the show and tell circle, and you should do that like soonish, not wait till 3 seconds before the show.
And how you do that is you just post a comment on any of the show and tell posts.
Yeah.
And then we add you to the show and tell circle.
Add me to the circle. We have
Yeah.
to click on your avatar and add you manually. We can't invite anyone, and it's very hard to invite individuals. We invite the circle. So comment, and we'll add you to the circle, and then we'll invite you every single week, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time here in New York. You will show up and show off your project. You can show up as many times as you want. You can show off maker projects, hacker projects, stuff with our stuff with other people's stuff.
Yeah,
retro
retro
stuff you
tech.
made yourself, retro tech, cosplay. We're pretty much like, if it's like fun and interesting and you made it with your hands, we're pretty much into it.
If you do electronics and you have a cat in the box, show up.
You can also just show off your cat in a box.
Maybe do electronics though too. Okay.
Maybe have electronics next to the cat.
Yeah. All right. All participants on the show and tell get an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker. We actually send you one out in the mail. As Seen on the Show and Tell. All right, Lady Data. We're gonna keep moving along here. Back in the mailbag. This is letters that people send us every single week. We post these up on our site. We also read them in the company. So when you send us these emails, we really listen to them.
Okay. This one's long.
Yeah, this one was a little big. So I'm going to try to.
Do you want to hide me?
I'm just gonna get rid of me for a second. We'll get rid of us here.
Later.
Okay. All right. So this is from Brian in Fort Wayne. This was the best options I could find to include this message, but I just wanted to send kudos for being awesome. Too many times people only send messages when they have a problem or something to complain about. I just wanted to send a note to tell you that all of the experiences with the current project I'm working on, the interaction I've had with Adafruit have been the best. I ordered quantity 2 of the 24-channel PWM controllers. They arrived on time, in great shape, with a library download. Thanks for making this part of the project the easiest part. All the best, Brian from Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
So we have a special section on our contact form. You can just go to adafruit.com/contact, and you can send us something, an email. You can also tweet at us, support@adafruit.com. We love to hear when you have great experiences. So thank you.
We have some intense days, so your letters help us get through the tough parts.
It's what keeps us going.
It keeps us going because it's the electronics. Sometimes it catches on fire and you're kind of sad, or you send out PCBs and they're wrong, and that kind of makes you sad. But then you get these lovely emails and you're like, everything is great. I'll just send out another revision of the PCBs.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have an Adafruit jobs board. This is we think it's the best place online to find makers that if you're a company that you want to work with, and if you're a maker, you post up your skills, and then companies or people can work with you. So this is an exciting one. I like this one because this is this company we had on our show. Gotenna is looking for Director of Operations, Supply Chain Manufacturing. They just launched their company and their first products. This is a great opportunity for someone to get in the ground floor around operations concerning their supply chain and manufacturing processes. While we've been working with an incredible supply chain management firm, we want to teach ourselves to fish, so to speak, and bring this expertise in-house as soon as possible. So if you ever wanted to be part of a cool New York startup that's cause-based, so this is Gotenna. And I guess what's the best way to describe it?
Gotenna is like, it's kind of like that ham VPN. It's actually a
portable ham VPN.
It's a little radio extender for your phone. So it's a 100 megahertz, I think, 100 megahertz frequency radio stick that pairs with your phone over Bluetooth, and then you can send text messages without being on the cellular network. So if you're away from a cellular tower, you can still send messages up to like 10 miles away or something ridiculously far. So you can communicate with people in a network with Gotenna without having to use a cellular network, but use your phone as like the input and output. Like you can use it as the controller. Yeah. So it's kind of a neat hack. It's like a low power radio range extender.
Yeah.
You don't need to use a cell network.
And all the jobs are approved by Lady Ada and I, so there's no recruiters, there's no spamming, there's no nothing. You just put your skills up or just put the job offering, and we've played matchmaker for lots of cool maker companies and lots of cool
There's
makers.
no fees, and people get great jobs. We get emails all the time, people saying, thank you so much for helping me fill this position and also find a job. So.
Yeah. Okay, next up, some news in the world of open source hardware. I have a general overview of a couple of things. So it's gift guide season. So if you're looking to give the gift of open source in some way, do check out all the gift guides on Adafruit.com. You can get to it by just going adafruit.com/holidaygifts or adafruit.com/gift guide. And that takes you to all of the gift guides. So we had a wearable one, we had a book one, we had other types of wearable ones. We have drone ones, we have 3D printing ones. We have open source ones, so this is one-stop shop for if something is important in someone's life, like open source hardware, we have the gift guide for them. Next up, I have to remind people that we've been doing things for a very long time, and sometimes I have to remind myself to put things back in the show. So today there was some internet outrage. So apparently Mattel, who has Barbie, made some type of book for young people, young girls, and it was called I'm going to be a computer engineer. And apparently they just didn't do a very good job with this book. Apparently it was like, Barbie's like, oh, I need to go find some boys to help me learn to code. And so there's internet outrage about everything.
Boys don't know how to code.
I mean, it's cute when they try.
I know, it's so cute with little man hands trying to like put semicolons in parentheses.
So you know, what we like to do here, we know there's progress that needs to be made in many things, but what we like to do is create content, and we like to create things that we like to see in the world. So instead of like going full on outrage cake,
we were going to do some funny. We were going to do some funny hacks.
But instead of
like,
criticizing Mattel and Barbie and all that, which is an old brand that was around before the internet, we have this wonderful publishing tool called the internet. So we have a free coloring book. It's Lady Ada's E is for electronics. So
but how much is it, Phil?
It's free. You can download it, but you can also buy a printed copy too. So because we released this a couple of years ago, once in a while I get emails from people saying, you guys should do a coloring book. And I'm like, you know what? I should probably post these once in a while. So here's the back cover. You get an idea. What we did is we have all of the world of electronics, A through Z. Lady Ada walks you through. We use this as a script for Circuit Playground, our kids show. And then here's one of the inside pages. You know, here's Lady Ada, a lady.
Oscilloscope.
And she's with her oscilloscope, and she's teaching you about frequency. And then here's some of the inside pages. There's Ohm, and there's Lady Ada teaching you about a PCB. So, you know, we can like be upset about things, or we can try to make things better together.
Yeah.
And the world needs this content, and there's lots of content like this out there. So I have a little short video that we made about this coloring book, so we're just going to play it.
Lady Ada's E is for Electronics is a coloring book adventure with electronic components and their inventors. Inside, makers of all ages can learn, color, and share common parts and historical figures throughout history. The illustrations are accompanied by helpful text helping kids learn about everything from Ohm's law to quartz crystals. L is for light-emitting diode, and I had a great time bringing this drawing to life with lots of different colors. We get our coloring book printed in New Jersey at a solar-powered facility using environmentally friendly printing supplies, and it features a full-color illustration front and back cover and 26 coloring pages inside. You can print it at home by downloading our free PDF of the entire coloring book. So check it out. The coloring book is in the Young Engineers section on Adafruit.com, where you can find plenty of other things to inspire the young engineers.
So that's our coloring book. It's available for a free download. You can purchase a copy. It's a beautiful little coloring book. And you know, there's other opportunities. I'd like to do a pop-up book one day. I'd like to do something with like electronics, where when you connect the pages, they do stuff. And don't wait.
Get circuit stickers now.
Don't wait for any big toy company to do this. We can do this now, and you have distribution. It's such a different world. So the other thing that we're doing, this is a preview. I think I've showed a couple pieces. We're doing another coloring book. This is Lady Ada's coloring book, and it's R is for robotics. And we have things like B is for big dog, and we have I is for iRobot. And here's Helen, the co-founder and former CEO of iRobot. She now has a drone company. So, you know, there's plenty of opportunities out there to do stuff.
I would totally love to have like instead of like Barbie's like a computer science book, like Helen's book of like making killer robots
Yeah.
and like robots that fly and robots that clean the floor and robots
Yeah.
that save soldiers' lives. Like that would be a really could have great adventures.
Yeah. So
Helen, her Helen's angel robots.
Yeah. So ours for robots, we're working on it. We'll have it out soon, we hope. It'll be a free download too. The other thing is for the folks who say, oh, well, those are just publications. What about like toys or Legos? Well, a few years ago, we made a Adafruit Lego set. So this was our old Adafruit headquarters, and we made a Ada Lego set. And we spent a lot of time on this. We worked with a Lego artist. And it was because there wasn't anything really out there that was for like young girls to say, I can be an engineer. There's a little
Look at
Hacko.
that little Lego Hacko. Is that the
Yeah.
cutest goddamn thing you've ever seen? It's got the Hacko shape in it.
And then this is our old pick and place,
Lego
made out
pick
of
and
Lego.
place.
This is our laser.
Lego laser cutter.
And so it's just one of the things where like when you see things that are missing, you can fill them and you can do them. So Lego had this site, and if you vote enough, this could have been turned into a big Lego set, but every single week we were up against Batman or Lord of the Rings. And so like we have like 2,300 votes, you need 10,000. So here's a video that we did this, and this was a few years ago too. So we're going to move on to the Adafruit Learning System. By the way, if you guys want to gather up another 8,000 votes, we'll make it a real Lego set. But you know what? Maybe we'll just do something ourselves anyways. Okay, Adafruit Learning System.
We have 3D print. We don't need Legos anymore. Why spend money on Legos?
Maybe we'll just, maybe we'll
make
just
a
print
3D printed setup.
Yeah, okay. So this is some tutorials, Lady Ada. What is this one?
This is a Pixel Matrix tutorial by Pixel Matrix. They came in and did a tutorial for, we have actually the parts for this kit. It's a little teensy 3 board that snaps onto the back of an Arduino Matrix and lets you this turns it into like a clock or like an animating thing using a remote IR remote control. So it's really a tutorial on how to add the IR remote to it. It's a nice little add-on tutorial.
Okay. And then next up, you're going to be talking about this one soon.
This is K-Town's mega tutorial for the Bluefruit Friend. Yeah, we'll be talking about this in detail. Basically, he tells you all about how to control the Bluefruit Friend via terminal software, how you can turn it into like a beacon if you want, or just, turn it into a client for talking to an iPhone or tablet or other Android phone. All the different settings, just like tons of details about the Bluefruit Friend, which we'll be talking about in detail. I don't want to ruin it. So.
Next up,
Move
this
on.
is Becky's tutorial on a zipper switch. If you're doing wearable electronics and you want a zipper that acts as a switch, check this out. We also have a video that we're going to be showing soon. A lot of stuff today. And then this is the other tutorial. This is the sniffer.
Yeah, it looks just like the Bluefruit Friend, but it's a sniffer. It allows you to listen in to Bluetooth low energy packets that are whizzing by your head at any time and watch them with some free software that's available. So this is another product that we also have available in the shop. We will talk about that later.
Okay, next up, time travel. I'm just going to go through these really quick. There's just one. So I don't know what you were doing in 1963. I don't think we were doing anything. We didn't exist. The first push-button telephone goes into service.
Beep boop.
Yeah.
I still had we had a rotary phone at my house for quite a while though.
That's so cool. Touchdown phones. That's so neat.
You had to pay for the tone
Yeah.
service though. It's so stupid.
But they were so neat.
They charge you an extra $2
For tones, yeah.
for tones.
Yeah, but what it unlocked so many neat things after that, because then you could just use tones
Now you can use tones.
to communicate over instead of giant metal
Tick, tick, tick,
signals.
tick, yeah.
Okay, so wearables this week. We have some really big news in wearables, Lady Ada. Do you know what it is?
I don't even know.
I'll tell you what it is.
What's the news?
Because that's how the show works. I usually do you know what it is and we pretend
I
like we don't know.
No,
but
I actually don't
you really
know.
don't? Oh,
No, what?
Flora is now $20.
Oh, right.
So-
I did that earlier this week.
Here's something: when we get new machinery and we get our yields up to like 99%, we get another Samsung pick and place. When we get super efficient and we can make things really fast and lower our costs, what do?
Lower the price.
We lower the price of the things.
Take over the world. No. Yeah, we improved the manufacture and testing procedure of Flora quite a bit. We can now test really fast. Our yield is like basically 100%. We're getting really good at this. We got better pricing on connectors and chips, so we lowered the price to $20 from $25.
Yeah.
And the packs also reduced the price, whatever they were, down $5. So
Yeah.
if you would like to get into wearable electronics, this is like the best board you can get for $20 to do wearable.
Yeah, this is the most powerful Arduino compatible that's under $20, and it has hundreds of projects and examples and things you can do.
we have a lot of
And the Getting Started with Flora book will be out soon
Yep.
by Becky Stern and Tyler.
Yep.
And speaking of Becky Stern, here is that zipper video that went with the zipper tutorial that I was talking about.
Here's a fun way to make your clothes more interactive. Turn a zipper into a switch for activating lights, sounds, and more using stainless steel conductive thread. You can use it with our Flora or Gemma microcontroller or with traditional PCBs like the Audio FX board or TV Begon. Find a metal zipper pull, not plastic. If it's painted, use some sandpaper to sand it off. Use straight stitches to bring 2 long pieces of conductive thread to the edge of the zipper. You can put 2-ply thread in the bobbin of your sewing machine. Then pick up long tails with a needle and hand stitch the rest. Build up stitches to make 2 small pads of thread. They should be close enough together that when the pull goes by, it briefly touches both pads at once. You want the knots away from the zipper, so stitch back a bit and tie off. Then seal with a dab of clear nail polish. Let it dry before cutting the thread short. At the other ends of the thread, stitch one to ground and the other to a digital input on your Flora or Gemma microcontroller. Don't forget to activate the internal pull-up resistor when you set up your Arduino sketch. It acts like a momentary switch. You can use a zipper switch in place of a push button, like in this TV Begon jacket. I stitched this a couple years ago using silver thread, and it's now tarnished. That's why we only carry stainless steel thread. It might be a little more expensive, but it'll last a whole lot longer. Many of you asked, so I'm going to try both silver jewelry tarnish remover and toothpaste to restore conductivity to this silver zipper switch. Thanks so much for watching, and subscribe to catch our live Wearable Wednesday show where we'll talk about the results. Check out the Adafruit Learning System for more conductive textile tutorials at the link in the description, and I'll see you next time.
All right, on to 3D printing. This week's video for 3D printing is all about how to make your own little 3D printed Wi-Fi device. You know about this.
Yes, this was a project that was a Phil B. and Noah and Pedro collab. They collaborated on this project and they did an amazing job. It looks awesome. Take it away, Noah and Pedro.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another 3D Thursday. I'm Noah, and today we're extending Maslow's hierarchy of needs to show what we humans really need most of all. It's probably Wi-Fi. So in this project, we're making a portable Wi-Fi hotspot finder using the Adafruit CC3000 and the Pro Trinket microcontroller. So in this project, we're using the CC3000 to detect Wi-Fi signals and an LED to indicate the nearby hotspots. You can of course get the parts and tools to build this project on the shop at adafruit.com. The LiPoly backpack adds a rechargeable power circuit, and it's designed to fit on top of the Pro Trinket microcontroller. Pretty convenient. So first up, we need to wire up a slide switch to the LiPo backpack to easily turn it on and off. You of course also need to use some heat shrink tubing for a secure connection. Proceed by wiring up silicone-coated stranded wire to the Pro Trinket. Appropriately sized pieces of 30-gauge wire make this circuit compact with very little room for slack. So be sure to use tweezers to help assist while you position and solder those bits of wire. The terminals of the LED and the resistor are bent to angle the lighting when inside the enclosure. You want to carefully bend the terminals over the trinket and ensure that they aren't touching any other components, otherwise that could be bad. Continue by panel mounting the UFL connector to the 3D printed enclosure. You want to fasten the screw nut to tightly secure it. The circuit nicely fits inside the enclosure and it's positioned with the USB connector lined up with the opening. And the UFL connector improves range, comes in different sizes depending on, well, what you want to do with it. You can use a 2 decibel for a low profile or a rather large 5 dB antenna to increase your range. So this small enclosure keeps all the electronics safely intact. It looks rather stylish and, well, non-intrusive. So please check out the guide on the Adafruit Learning System to get the Arduino libraries in the example code used in this project. A printed clip snaps onto the back of the enclosure and allows you to attach this gadget to your persons or your bag or anything else you'd like. A total of 5 modes indicate the status. So when the LED starts flickering fast, it's scanning for Wi-Fi networks. A slow blink indicates an open network is in range, while 1-second blips means closed networks only, and 4-second blips, wah wah, means there's no Wi-Fi networks. So now we have a cute little wearable gadget that can help us when we're in need of our most crucial necessity. So what Internet of Things projects are you working on? You can let us know in the comments and on our weekly show and tell on Google+. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and check out our previous videos for more project ideas from Adafruit. See you guys next week.
All right, so if you want more 3D printing, and I'm sure you do, tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. for 3D Thursday Hangout with Matt, Noah, and Pedro, the best 3D printing show on the internet. Next up, Pi Day. I have one quick thing on raspberrypi.org. They have a very cool chart. I like things like this. It's all the Raspberry Pis. Rev 1, Model B. Rev 1B with links, Model A. Rev 2, where it was made, China. Rev 2, Model B. UK, Compute Module, B+. Blue Pi, Rev 2, Model B. Chinese Red Pi, Rev 2, Model B, Model A+.
I think I have all of these with the Blue Pi, which was this very super special edition that I didn't get because I'm not special.
Yeah.
But I have all these in. I even got a Chinese Red Pi. These are the ones that are manufactured in China for the Chinese population. So they're rare to find outside of China.
Yeah. So like 4 years ago, I found a way to get a hold of the Computer History Museum, and I introduced them to the Arduino team, and I said, hey, there should be an Arduino in the Computer History Museum, and the introductions were made. I don't know whatever happened. I don't know if it worked out. I don't think it did, but I said, this Arduino thing's going to be pretty popular. Get the original one while you can.
Yeah.
And so I sent a note to the person that I talked to years ago, and I'm going to try to get them to get the Raspberry Pi put in the Computer History Museum. They should have all of these in some way, somewhere, because there are already millions of units. This is already having a big impact in the world. Now's a good time to say,
get one now before it's rare.
This is a piece of history already.
Yeah.
So.
And much smaller than the Apple II disk drive.
Yeah. All right. So before we get on to new products, don't forget the code is Bluefruit. 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lady Ada, take a deep breath.
I know.
It is time. We're going to get through these. You ready?
There's a lot of new products.
Ready? I'll start it off.
New.
Okay, so first up, we have a coming soon. This is our Raspberry Pi B+ case coming soon. Sign up. They are on their way. These are going to go extremely fast. Designed by Mike Dole, one of the best industrial designers in the world. And we love putting
designer of his cases.
We love putting the designer's name on the case.
Yeah, we're gonna have this. This is the neutral one, which is just kind of a gray base, a translucent gray smoke with a clear top, and it's polycarbonate, so it's beautiful and extremely durable. It has all the ports you expect. It's totally awesome. This photo makes it look like it's white, but it's not. It's a gray base and
I'll
a
go
clear
to the
top.
overhead.
Oh yeah. And this is like the first pull out of the mold, and it worked great. So we're going to get more, and I'm just showing it with one of the cables that I'll be demoing soon. Let's see, maybe I'll turn it down. Whoa, yeah, turn it down a little bit. And the Pi fits inside, but it's clear. You can fit hats inside. You can have a GPIO cable. You can have a micro SD slot. You can have your ports, and we'll have multiple different colors. All of them translucent, so you can mix and match colors. We actually posted some photos a couple months ago of the renders, but we're gonna have like pink and green and blue, and you can mix and match the color. So hopefully that will be coming in the next couple weeks. But you can sign up now, and you'll get notified, and you'll get notified even when we get the other colors in. But we'll also just have this kind of plain case, and it's like totally awesome. And then the neat thing is we can have different tops because it's designed so that the top just snaps off, and we can have. Let me do a AF lock. So we can do different tops and shapes and color. Whoa.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Do it till focus. Okay.
So sign up for that. It will be in the shop soon. Lovely case.
Okay.
Snap it together.
Next up, this is a book by popular demand, the Raspberry Pi Cookbook. This is by Simon Monk. He has some of the best tutorials on learn.adafruit.com. If you want all that smarts and some more stuff and some different stuff.
It's a huge book. I'm going to hold this up to show how big it is.
Yeah.
It's got everything. I can't get it off.
I'm going to, okay.
It's software, it's hardware, it's Python, it's electronics, it's hats and shields and breadboards, and it's like everything. It doesn't have color photos, but it's a great book, and it works with the model B or B+. It's adaptable. If you love Simon Monk's tutorials, you will adore
Yep.
this book.
Okay, next up. An FTDI cable.
This is an updated FTDI cable. We have carried FTDI cables for a really long time. This is PID 70. So it's a really old product. We're up to like 2300 by now. What's really sweet about this cable is we now have it with a translucent body, and it has LEDs in it. Did we get the LED GIF?
It's a GIF, but it didn't play well
Oh, okay. We don't-
in the video software.
If you go to the product, you can see
Yeah.
it's translucent, and so actually, can you go back like three more images to that one? Yeah, you can see how it's translucent. So there's a red and a green LED inside, and when you send and receive data, it pulses, so the body glows, and so you can see when data is going back and forth. Usually, FTDI cables do not have LEDs in them. They're just like black plastic, and so you spend a little bit more to get these nicer cables, but I think it's really handy because it's good. You can see when data is passing through the cable.
Yeah.
So if you have like the wrong COM port or something is acting weird, you can at least visually see when the data is passing through. And of course, these use genuine FTDI chips, so you don't have to worry about that.
There's no chance that FTDI would like release drivers and cause any problems. So.
But either way, these are genuine.
If they ever did,
And,
these are genuine FTDIs.
They're great. They're completely the same as the previous cables electrically, just now translucent with LEDs. So
Okay, next
even
up,
better.
we have Raspberry Pi book pack.
Right. This is the pack of parts for Carrie Ann Philbin's amazing and awesome book about Raspberry Pi. It's all about like Raspberry Pi building and software. Oh, can you go back?
You want to go back?
Yeah, I want to just show the book. So this is the book, and this is the thing put together. But the parts that it comes with is go forward to
What?
that one. It comes with a breadboard, long wires, short wires, LCD, big red LED, big green LED, 5 push buttons, trim potentiometer, and a little GPIO card. And this lets you do, you add this onto a Raspberry Pi. It doesn't come with a Raspberry Pi or SD card or all the other stuff that we have. This is just the parts packs for the last 2 projects, which show you how to integrate buttons, switches, LEDs, LCDs, and sensors into the Pi. So I'll just show the demo. And so it has this little card that slips onto the Raspberry Pi B+. We showed this off before, and it labels all the pins so you can plug these long wires in. And I'm not gonna, it actually is playing web radio, it's playing music, but if I play it, like YouTube will freak out and think we're pirating music, so there's no audio. But you can play audio through here and change the station and stuff, and all these good things. And it's just one of the final projects where you use a Raspberry Pi and Wi-Fi to create an internet radio. Okay. So you have the LCD, and these are all the parts that are included. So if you would like to build the projects in the last 2 chapters of Carrie Ann Philbin's book, check out this pack. That also will work with the Model B or B+. We think most people are going to have a B+ going forward, so we included the B+ GPIO header, and also we have a printout showing how B+ and B is the same with the headers and stuff. So it's a great add-on pack for the book. If you have the book, you can just pick this up, and we'll let you do that project.
Next up, we have these cables.
Very long cables.
Yeah.
These are very long cables for the Raspberry Pi camera. We already had the cables in short lengths and medium lengths, and now we have them in really, really long lengths. So this plugs into where the camera would go, and you just swap out this cable, and then this cable is like really, really long. I think this is the 2-meter long cable.
Wow.
It's really, really, really
You could
long.
do a lot of cool like outdoor
Very
stuff.
far,
You could have the cable.
You have the Pi indoors and in the camera outdoors, and then you have the 1 meter and 2 meter. We did test this with the Pi camera, and we had it like streaming video out and taking photos, and it worked. But I do want to mention that the camera is not specified for 1 or 2 meter length cables. That's really long. If you have a very noisy environment with a lot of RF noise in it, you may have like corrupted data, or you may have issues with your camera. So just like a caveat, that these cables are totally awesome and extremely long, but they're much longer than the camera would like to have. So it's a bit of a hack.
I like that you have these because I don't think they're available anywhere else.
No, it's most people are like, why would you even do a
Yeah, we
2-meter
get
cable?
asked all the time. Do you
have them longer?
Do you have any longer cables? Okay. Next up,
Longer, yes.
this is kind of neat. These are little SMD.
This is so cute.
Yeah.
This is these. We're carrying all these little connectors for the Raspberry Pi because these are like custom connectors, and they are a pain to get. if they're not carried by DigiKey or Mauser or something. So
Yeah.
we have these connectors, and they're actually kind of the same. They're the same connectors that are. Can I zoom in?
Yeah, I can.
Ooh, yeah.
I
No,
can-
I don't need you.
Yeah, I know.
Look at me. I'm
I
zooming
know.
in.
I'm barely needed most
You're
of
not
the time.
needed. Go back and pretend to write code.
I
Okay,
know.
so this is a little connector that is very slim, and it's a surface mount style connector, and it plugs into, I have an A plus here, but Raspberry Pi model B plus or A plus, and it's just very slim, and once I plug it in, it's going to be hard for me to remove it, but it slides on, and then you can have your circuit board, and it's basically as slim as it's going to get, so that when you have if you have a hat design that you're using, it will sit like right on top of the USB connector, or if you have a Model B Plus, it'll sit inside of the cavity where, underneath the USB connectors, Ethernet connectors. So it's just a very slim surface mount connector we're carrying it for the Raspberry Pi. You can use it for other stuff, but this is what we think it is extra good for.
Okay.
Super slim and surface mount. We'll also have a through-hole one eventually, but the surface mount one came in first.
Okay, next up.
I have to remove this.
Little tiny servos.
It's a super tiny servo.
Yeah.
This is a sub-micro servo.
I like that you can't tell that these are tiny servos because they're just like, oh, this is just photos of servos. But then you see like, wait, that's a quarter. That can't be right.
It's really small.
Yeah.
It's even smaller than the microservers that I had previously thought
They're
were
smaller than
size.
what we were calling microservos.
So this is what I called a microservo, and this is a 9-gram
yeah.
servo.
That's a
And
very
I was like,
small
this
servo.
Is small, but this is even smaller.
Oh my gosh,
So
that's even a
small.
tiny small.
Hey,
That's even
hello.
tinier. Yeah.
You're so small. I'm so teeny.
Yeah.
So you need a little, even higher pitched voice to pretend to be this servo, which is really small, and we think would be really great for. It's not very good for load bearing. Just be aware, like you can strip the gears very easily. But if you just want to move something back and forth about 180 degrees,
Yeah.
it does have slightly less range than other servos because it is quite small. It really has like exactly 180 degrees. Some servos usually have like 200 or like maybe 220, but this one's really 180. It comes with a bunch of servo horns that you can attach onto it. You can see here, and little screws. We had a project that used one of these for a costume, like an eyeball that you would put on your eye and it would move around. So this is as small as servos get. I don't think they make them any smaller. So it's pretty amazing. This little geared motor with a gear train in it and a control board. So the fact that they made it this small is pretty amazing. You could fit this in, most projects that just need some motion. Just be aware, it's not going to be able to move like a pound of weight. It's very lightweight.
It's like smaller than a quarter. What do you expect?
Yeah, it's like just be aware that you can strip the gears if you're not
Okay.
careful.
Next up, we're getting into the parts biz. Look at it. We got little parts now.
We have parts for projects.
Little tiny parts. So what is this, Lady Ada? What's this
We
first
have
part?
regulators, and we're going to get more regulators, but these are the first two we're starting with. We're starting with the 7805, which I think you showed. This is the LT1117 3.3, and then this is the L4931. And these are kind of regulators that I like, and I'll tell you what I like about them. So the first one is the 7805. Let's go back to that one.
Oh, that's just, everybody likes 7805.
Every of them loves the 7805. Here's the deal with the 7805. It's cheap. It's a cheap regulator, and it's rugged, and you can use fairly high voltages with it. It'll give you 5 volts clean out from you can give it from 7 volts up to 35 volts or whatever. You can put a heat sink on it. You can get more than an amp out of it with proper heat sinking. It's great, but it has a pretty high dropout, 2 volts. So you need to have at least 7 volts in to get 5 volts out.
Okay.
Then we're going to have a lower dropout regulator later,
yeah,
but this one is simple.
Next
we also
up.
have the LT1117 3.3, which is a very, very common 3.3 volt regulator. We use this a lot. It gives you about 800 milliamps out. It has a 0.8 volt dropout, so you have to basically give it 4.5 volts or higher to get 3.3 volts out. Very common to use this with something that provides 5 volts, like a USB jack or a wall adapter or a couple AA batteries, to get 3 volts out. And it's also a very good regulator. You can put a heat sink on it for when you really do need 800 milliamps. I first experienced this when trying to drive a propeller. The Parallax propeller needs 500 milliamps. So this was the regulator we went with. A handy regulator. And then finally, to round it off, we have a little mini 3.3 volt regulator. This is a TO92 package. 3.3 volt regulator. This is also ST micro and L4931. And the nice thing about this is it has a fairly high input voltage range. It can go up to 16 volts, I think, or maybe 20 volts, which is pretty high for one of these regulars. You can run off of almost any battery or power input. It only needs 2 microfarad capacitance for stability, and it can give you up to 250 milliamps output as long as you're within the wattage range of the package. So it has very low dropout, only 0.4 volts. So you can go as low as like a lithium ion or li-poly battery, up to 20 volts, and you can spike out as much as 250 milliamps. This is really good for little radios or projects where you don't need a lot of current for a lot of time. You just need spikes of current, or like you have a motor or like a radio or something. That's what I thought this would be good for. Or if you just don't need like a lot of current all the time. So this is a nice little 3.3 volt regulator.
Okay.
We'll be getting this in 5 volts later. This is what came in
And then
so far.
we have more parts. You're just like, you're just going crazy.
This is a crystal party.
Yeah, this is all these crystals.
We
Do you
have
want me to
crystals. This is a 32 kilohertz crystal.
Yeah.
And this is a good crystal for low power microcontrollers and real-time clocks. Chances are if you've done any low power stuff or real-time clock stuff, you'll need a 32 kilohertz crystal. This is it. It works great. 12 picofarad load capacitance, very standard. Usually you don't even need capacitors with this. Usually the microcontroller you're using has the capacitance built into it. It has the ability to turn on the capacitance. So you do not need to have external caps.
Okay.
For the other crystals, we do include caps. So we have 16 megahertz.
Yeah, and
Comes with 2 20 picofarad capacitors as well.
yeah, and then
Handy.
and all these just the numbers, are
4 megahertz.
yeah, and 20 and 20.
For 24.
Yeah.
This one is 8. And then the next one is 12. So we're starting with this. We'll get some more crystals later. But a lot of people are saying, like, hey, I just need, like, the crystal with capacitors. And I was like, well, this way we'll bundle it, because it's very rare that your system doesn't need to have external capacitance as well. So this lets the crystal stay stabilized. So 4, 8, 12, 16 megahertz, those are the kind of most common frequencies that you're going to experience with a microcontroller or other timing stuff. These are good quality, 30 ppm crystals. They're pretty much good for anything up to doing RF work. If you need anything more precise, you're going to be paying a lot for a voltage control oscillator. But for general purpose, like microcontroller work, these are definitely good enough.
I also want to point out, I don't think there's been any better photo ever in the history of electronics.
Yeah, you can like really read the markings on everything. Look at those markings.
Yeah, I mean, we think these things look beautiful, and so we treat them that way. So anyways.
They look like candy. Yeah, these are the short cans. I like these, the HC 49s. They're breadboard friendly and perfboard friendly, but they're also they're short. They're not the super tall ones. So
yeah. Okay. Next up, I'll take this one. This is the Orion Delta 3D printer. So this is a new type of printer. It has the axis up the top, and so I have a little video that this will give you an idea. This is from the company that makes it. And so this is a little bit of a tour of it in action. Tomorrow on 3D Hangouts with Matt, Noah, and Pedro, you'll probably see some of this in action. We now have it in the store. We're one of the first resellers out there to have it. And so that discount code that we have, this is a pretty good time to use it. 3D printers, good ones, are not cheap. So this is how.
These are the most fun to watch.
Yeah,
too.
and this is like one of the first. So this got a Maker Faire, Maker of Merit award at Maker Faire Detroit. They're actually beautiful to watch. Nothing's hidden, and they're like a sculpture that makes things. So I think they're really neat, and I think a lot of people are going to like them. Okay, next up, this is.
That's so close. This is a conductive ribbon that's part of. Go to the next thing. A soft potentiometer kit from Plug-and-Wear. This is a very interesting thing. This is a high resistance ribbon. We have like low resistance ribbon for power transfer. This one is basically it turns it into a variable resistor or potentiometer because it's a 10 kiloohms of resistance, and then you have this little bead that acts as the wiper. So it's kind of like a manual potentiometer, but it's soft. And I can show it on the overhead as well. Go to the overhead. All this video is washed out. Okay, hold on. Let me back it out. Back.
Yeah, whatever we set the light when we start to show is kind of what stays up.
Okay, so I have like my little multimeter you can see, and then if you measure from end to end, it's going to say, give it a second, it's about 7.8 kiloohms. So it's very high resistance. And then as the slider goes up and down, it ranges from like in the middle here, it's like 5.5 kilo ohms. And then, you know, if I slide this near the end this way and measure from this end to the wiper, it's, you know, 1 kilo ohm. So you can use this as, you know, you have one end, and then in the middle, this voltage, you know, you can put a voltage across it, and then this voltage will change as you slide the little bead across. Or you can use it as a variable resistor by connecting like an LED or something from one end to power, and then this end to ground, and then, you know, from the ring, and then adjust the ring. So it's kind of an interesting thing from plug-in-ware. You know, it's rare to find high-resistance stuff that's consistent, but because it's so consistent, you can use it as a variable resistor potentiometer. So that'll be an interesting addition. You know, we had the zipper switch tutorial, so this is going to be like, this is kind of like an adjustable zipper potentiometer.
Yeah. We'll be adding more stuff like this. There's a lot of cool stuff
So
ahead for
interesting
wearables.
stuff. So
Okay.
for wearables.
Next up, second to the last product. Well, one of them counts as kind of two products.
Okay.
This is a monster product.
Hold on, I'm gonna put everything away here.
This was one of the coming soon ones that we did a sneak peek.
Yeah, we had this without the touchscreen, and now we have it with the touchscreen. It's our touchscreen backpack that we make in house.
Yeah.
So we've had like sort of, you know, screens, HDMI screens that uses like other boards that we kind of assemble here. This one's nice because it's mountable. It's got the 4 mounting tabs. It's a 5-inch display, and it looks really good. It's really bright and clear. It's 800 by 480 resolution, which makes it very good for, it's like the smallest high resolution display that you can pretty much get if you want to go this small and have it be like under a couple $100. I'll move it down. You know, we just have it running on a Raspberry Pi, but it'll work with, you know, any computer. You can use it even like with a game station, anything with HDMI output. No Page were using this with their camera, which has HDMI output for preview. They made a little preview design. Here we're demoing it with a Pi, and the nice thing about this version of the backpack, we have 2 versions, is it has HDMI and then power and data over USB. So you can power it over USB, and it also has a touch screen over USB, and it looks just like a mouse. So wherever you touch, it basically thinks it's a mouse. So, you know, you don't have to have any drivers or anything, and it works with like any kind of computer. So for example, I can start up, let me see what I want to start. I'll start up. Sorry, hold on. I can start up Minecraft, and, you know, I can say like, okay, let's start the game and create new world, and it's building a terrain, and like, you know, you can use this as a mouse and then also have a keyboard if you'd like. So you can basically, you know, use this as a mini tablet display, but you can easily attach it to stuff, and you power it. It's powered from the Pi. So like over here, it's just powered into the USB port. So power and data through one cable. So this is a nice like all-in-one display. If you want to have like a single board computer with a display, and like our Pi TFT is nice, but it's just not high resolution. It's not HDMI. It's not going to be as good looking.
As someone pointed out, these work with a laptop, and it's USB powered, and you can have a secondary screen.
Yeah, it works with everything. It's
really
just
cool.
HDMI. It looks just like an HDMI monitor. Like the Pi just thinks it's a TV, and then, you know, I can like do stuff. Oh, I'm like digging.
Yeah, this is
so
really
I can
neat.
I can, you know, use it in like wherever I touch that it thinks I'm like a mouse click.
Okay.
Yeah, I use it on the Pi, but it works with the BeagleBone block as well. I actually demoed it on my Windows computer to use it, and then it works on anything that HDMI out.
I know on my Mac.
Yeah, we had it on your Mac. Basically, it's just like
works great.
miniature HDMI monitor, and it looks really good. And and you can. There's also like some debugging pads, and you can also power it by soldering to these pads if you don't want to use USB. But
It's a nice
I
board.
would use the. And we have a version without a touch screen, if you do not want to have touch. If you're like, I don't want to have. The touch element, you don't want to pay for that because it's a little bit more expensive. We have a version that has no touch.
Okay. So
I'm gonna dig myself a hole.
here we go here.
Okay.
Now, the star of the show besides you
Yeah.
and K-Town's handiwork is this product itself.
Okay.
Okay, lady, this is it. This is a new product. This is the Blue Fruit.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to actually bring a blue
The
fruit.
Blue
That's
Fruit
okay.
LE friend?
I'll talk about it here.
Okay.
We're going to talk about this in more detail in the next couple of weeks, but this is sort of a live now. This is a Blue Fruit friend, and it's a USB to Bluetooth adapter, which is a really odd thing because a lot of people are like, hey, I have Bluetooth built into my laptop, and on Windows you can get a Bluetooth dongle. Why would you need this? Well, this is sort of like an all-in-one USB UART to Bluetooth converter. It doesn't use the Bluetooth stack on a computer because usually you need to have a whole bunch of software to like actually do the Bluetooth low energy like build up and tear down. It's just like computers are not very good at it. So this allows you to basically, you plug into your computer and it has a little Bluetooth radio on it and a USB to serial converter that talks to the Bluetooth module. And we have our custom firmware that K-Town worked for 6 months on. And it lets you talk to any tablet or phone that has Bluetooth Low Energy without having to like have a separate tablet or a separate setup. It basically has a direct link. Hello. Oh, you brought some. Thank you.
Yeah.
You are good for something. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I can open up jars and go fetch products. That's about it.
Because if you have a tablet or a phone right now that has Bluetooth Low Energy, you can talk to like your smartwatch or like a little sensor. But if you think about it, it actually doesn't do Bluetooth connection to a computer. There's no way to do that. And so if you're doing Bluetooth development or you just want to communicate between your phone or tablet or Bluetooth device to your computer, there's just no way to do that until now. So this is a device that we actually developed to help us do Bluetooth Low Energy development. And we'll be doing way more Bluetooth Low Energy stuff in the future. But if you're trying to communicate between a computer and a tablet, or you want to debug or create a Bluetooth link between computer and phone, this is the device for you. We wrote like a really intense Bluetooth firmware interface that lets you use AT commands, so you can type commands into it and say like turn it into a beacon. So it's like an Apple beacon, except we can't say that because it's trademarked.
Okay.
So you can't call it iBeacon, but we can say it's a beacon.
I'll show it on the other end. Just give folks an idea of what this thing looks like.
Yeah, I can show it in detail. And then you can change the name of it and like get the RSSI power. So here's the USB connection, and then we have an FTDI chip over here, which converts the USB to UART. We have a switch that can switch between UART mode, which means whatever you type shows up on the phone, like it's exactly shows up on the iPhone app, or command mode where you tell it like when you want to send data and when you want to like change the attributes or characteristics for your Bluetooth Low Energy device. It comes with a DFU, which is an over-the-air bootloader. So if you press this button while plugging it in, it will allow you to update the firmware on board over the air. So if you want to develop your own Bluetooth applications, this is a really, really easy way to very fast create and update Bluetooth firmware on the Nordic NRF 51822 chipset. There are some indicator LEDs, and we have a snap-off SWD adapter. This is a JTAG connector, so you can program this chip raw if you don't want to use the bootloader. You want to just like use a J-Link, and you can snap it off. I don't want to do it, but it has little holes in it, so you can pull it off with pliers.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's a very complicated product. So if you're like, I don't completely understand it, check out the tutorial, because I can't describe it adequately in 2 minutes, but it's kind of a Swiss Army knife for Bluetooth Low Energy that you can use with your computer. Works with Mac, Linux, Windows. So Windows 7 doesn't even have Bluetooth Low Energy support. So now you can do Bluetooth Low Energy stuff with Windows 7 without having to update to Windows 8.
Yeah, does it work? Are any of the Linuxes supported for something like this?
Everything. It just has FTDI chips, which is supported by every Linux. So it'll work with a Raspberry Pi even if you want. It'll work with anything.
Someone pointed it out.
Okay.
I think that's called like leading the questionnaire.
And then for the app, this uses a UART characteristic, so it's a basic RxTX characteristic. It works with the Nordic UART demo app, which is available for iOS and Android. And of course, it works with the Adafruit iOS app, which we have not yet ported to Android, but we're working on it right now. We're working on Android development. So you'll be able to get some example code for Android, but it's really, really simple. You just have an RX and TX characteristic, and it's sending data back and forth as a transparent pipe.
Okay, and then there's one other version of this.
That's right. We also have another version, which is the sniffer version.
Yeah, so I have a screenshot, but
yeah,
I mean,
it's because it's exactly the same hardware, but we burn in.
Oh look, this
sniffer.
is the sniffer version. We took an identical photo.
We might have to put a sticker on it at some point, but
Yeah.
it lets you use Wireshark. Right now, it's only supported under Windows, but we're working on trying to get the Mac version to support it as well. We have to kind of ask some people to add our VID PID in. So you can, if you want to do Bluetooth Low Energy development, and you're like, I really wish I could listen in on all the packets so I could see what data is being transmitted and characteristics and like what's going on. This is a really awesome Bluetooth sniffer. It basically listens to any Bluetooth packets going around from any device to any device and lets you dump them into Wireshark, which is a really powerful open source data analysis tool. So you can like look at certain MAC addresses and characteristics and GATs and like make sure that all the data you expect to be going through is going through. So it allows you to both listen into Bluetooth Energy and also debug your Bluetooth Energy setup. We needed to have two products because the firmware for the sniffer completely takes over the chip, so you can't do that and the other thing. You have to have like completely separate firmware. You can convert one to the other using a J-Link, JTAG programmer, but not everyone has one, so we just have two program versions. You know, the sniffer one, we do the extra work to program it with a sniffer firmware. If you have a J-Link, you can buy the Bluefruit Friend and then program it with the firmware on your own if you're feeling up for it. But we have both, since some people are like, I just need a Bluetooth sniffer, and they don't want to get into the firmware programming part.
Okay. And so, what module? What company makes the
Yeah,
module
we're
using?
using the Nordic NRF 51822 core, which is the best Bluetooth Energy core. We think K-Town loves it. I like it a lot. It's really sweet. It's got like great things like this over-the-air bootloading capability. It's extremely low power. It's got great range, and there's a free tool chain for it. So if you would like to do more development with the Nordic NRF 51822, which if you're doing Bluetooth Energy, you probably are, because again, it's the best chipset. You can program this with your J-Link, and we'll have lots of firmware and tutorials for you to hack on this. We'll make other versions of the Bluefruit LE Friend, and breadboard friendly ones, and Arduino Shield version ones, and ones that are like all-in-one, and ones that are battery powered and all that good stuff. But we're starting with actually with the debugging tool that we created to debug the Bluetooth Energy products that we're making. So that's how we roll as engineers. We're releasing the debugging tools first, and then we're going to actually release
I like
the
how you
product.
always release the tools that you make yourself. What was that? The display adapter thing that you did? It had all the different types. That
Like
was cool.
I released like the breakout that I generate to debug the TFTs.
Yeah, I thought that was clever.
Nordic just wants to like put it out there, but if you can't see it because I have my finger covering it, but it comes with a software code for Nordic. So if you would like to download their SDK and stuff, and you need a product key code, our products come with the key code. So that's very handy because they don't have the software is available, but you have to type in the key code to get it. So you have a license.
All
when you
right,
buy
this
these
was a
items.
monster show. We had a lot of new products. Woof. Okay.
Okay, but I did it all.
You did it all. All right. I'm gonna.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna look in.
Hydrating
I'm gonna look in the chat.
Okay, I'll do some questions real
Yeah,
fast.
go ahead and ask some questions. We're gonna give away something. We're gonna give away a Bluefruit LE Friend soon. But go ahead and. Someone was asking about the BLE module itself, not the chipset.
The module itself, I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's an FCC certified module that we got that has the Nordic chipset and the crystals on the passives and the antenna, and it's pretty sweet. We'll also be offering that in the store soon, and for people who are advanced and want to develop their own Bluetooth Energy, like on the base like chip.
All right. This was a question from before, but I'm going to make sure. Will this BLE Friend work on any desktop or ARM Linux?
Any computer that has an FTDI driver for it, which is like pretty much all of them, you'll be able to plug this in and you open up a terminal program. Like you open up Minicom or CoolTerm or Xterm or whatever to type in the commands and send data back and forth. It just looks like a serial port basically to the computer. So you don't have to worry about the Bluetooth Energy stack. All that stuff is done in the module. The radio stuff is all taken care of for you. You just send and receive data.
Okay. Does the Adafruit push button power switch breakout PID 1400 to bounce?
It has basic hardware debouncing in it because it's got an RC circuit.
Okay. I'm making a pinhole camera light meter for calculating exposure times and trying to keep it low cost. Can I use two photoresistors with different pull down resistors? How accurate could it be?
For basic timing, a photocell will work, but photocells do vary from one to the other. They're not all, they're going to be within 10%. So as long as your timing is within 10% and you're cool with that, then a photocell will work fine. If you want something better, our TSL 2561 Lux sensor, which is actual light meter chip, it's actually like what you would use for a professional light meter, is calibrated and is really sweet. It's a little bit more expensive and you need a microcontroller because it's I2C, but you will get actual lux readings, not just like it's dark or it's light and
Yeah.
it's in the middle.
Any word on Adafruit partnering with carriers for Sims for Fun? Yeah, working on it. I actually have a call scheduled tomorrow. It just takes forever, and we have to do it the right way.
It takes some time. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Get there. Until now, T-Mobile and there's other MTM to SIM
Yeah.
converters. We're getting there. Just
Also,
Losing
wouldn't
time.
it be kind of neat if Adafruit was a carrier for M2M stuff? Anyway, next up, let's see. What's the projected price point of the Delta printer? Well, it's in
it's
our
in the store.
It's in our
It's like
store.
2,000.
Yeah, it's in our store, and I want to
something
make sure I
dollars.
say what the right price is. It is
Oh, sorry.
$13.99, but it's 10% off if you use the
It's actually a
code.
pretty good deal.
Yeah, and you get free UPS ground if you're in the US. All right.
So $1,400.
Okay, and then someone wanted to know how is the AREF used on the Flora, and does Gemma have it?
Gemma does not have, the AT1085 does not have AREF. For the Flora, since it's 3.3 volt power, the AREF is tied to the 3.3 volt line. It's not brought out. But
Okay.
you probably don't need it. It's tied to the very good 3.3 volt regulator.
All right, someone know the status of our Pi hats in beta coming soon, shipping
Wow.
very,
now,
very soon.
Now that Bluetooth Low Energy friend is done, I can get back to the hats because
Yeah.
I got all these connectors, as you can tell. They're
All right.
in the store. I can make hats now.
And would the Spark Core work with the Adafruit Fona?
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually it would. I just don't have code for it. Because we have a library. You'll have to use a serial connection, which I'm pretty sure that SparkCore has. If it doesn't, then I don't know. But as long as it has a RxTX pins for serial, you can connect at any baud rate from 4,800 to like 115,000 kilobaud, and then just send the commands back and forth. And there's a huge document with all the commands that
Okay.
you can send to it.
So this is the last question. Any chance you could post a tutorial on how to use a BLE board with iOS A NCS to get notifications on phone calls, texts, etc.?
That's a good K-Town question, but I'm pretty sure K-Town is working on it.
Yeah, post
I don't know the detail. Colin and K-Town, I think, have been discussing how to get that working.
Post up in the forums. But if you're asking if there's any chance, yeah, of course. If this is something that's valuable and interesting that people want to do.
I mean, as you know, Apple has been giving more access to that stuff, so we're slowly adding capabilities to our app. Like we just pushed like 3 versions of our app to the Apple Store, which they all take like a couple weeks to.
We had to send
do.
physical hardware to Apple for them to approve all of our stuff. It was
Yeah.
intense.
But we will definitely be adding.
And they keep it.
I want to add the capability to do Bluefruit Low Energy to the notification center stuff, because that is something that people want to do. Like when you get a text message or send a text message, or
Yeah.
you get push notification to your phone and back, so you can do push to and push from.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
Apparently the hardware can do it, but there's no code yet, so it's on a big to-do list. It's in the pipeline.
Really big to-do list.
Yeah, for everybody.
Why
Okay.
don't you bother K-Town? No, don't bother K-Town. He worked very hard. You should say thank you, K-Town, for working so hard and getting this product released.
We got to get out of here. Trivia question. Lady Ada, what are the rules?
Rules are, if you are an already winner of this fabulous trivia contest quiz question thingy, you can enter again 1 winner per my lifetime, but you can win if you've won something on another show like Becky's show or 3D Hangouts, which I don't know if they do a giveaway. But
Yeah, we do.
Today's prizes, you get either the Bluefruit LE Sniffer or the Bluefruit Friend, whichever
Okay.
you like, whichever's more useful to you.
Okay. All right. So here is the question. I'm going to be looking the YouTube comments tonight for the answer. So the question is, in 1928, there was an animated short that was released. It was directed by Walt Disney. What was the name of this animated short? It was the first appearance of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, and it was considered by the Disney Corporation to be Mickey's birthday. What is the name of that animated short? And I'll be looking in the YouTube comments tonight because I did Ustream last time. So as soon as we see it show up there, I will
Okay.
pick the first person. And while we're doing this, a little bit of a programming note. Remember, tomorrow, Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is 3D Hangouts with Matt, Noah, and Pedro. Don't forget the code. Dar Breslin, congratulations.
Yay!
Steamboat Willie, you got it.
You got it. Please email support@adafruit.com and say, hey, I am Dar Breslin, and tell us whether you want the sniffer or the Bluefruit Friend, whichever one you want. I don't know which is more useful to people.
Yeah.
So whichever one you would wish to get,
Okay.
and you will receive a fabulous prize. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching the show. It has been Epic.
This is Epic Show. Bluefruit's the code, 10% off just for the next couple hours. Make sure you get on that. And don't forget, we're here every week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week, we are going to do a show. It's Wednesday. It's the day before Thanksgiving, but we're going to do it.
Wow. Yeah.
And we'll probably have a bigger chunk of time for more questions. But if
Yeah.
you're a customer and you've bought something, don't forget to go to adafruit.com/support or adafruit.com/forums. And many of us here post up in the forums, and we have full-time engineers that answer all of your questions.
Yeah. So today we had like 20 new products, but I really wanted to get through all of them.
Yep.
We've been cranking through so much stuff. It's been amazing and awesome, and we'll have hopefully less stuff next week, so we can have more question time.
I want to have more.
More, but I mean also.
Ask an Engineer is now a 4-hour show.
I know the problem is I have to get through all the details because it gets all the new product clips that actually gets into the product. So people ask questions they want to actually know the answer to.
Yep. So
Okay.
special thanks to everyone out there who's watching. Special thanks to all the Adafruit team members, remote in here. K-Town stopped by. That was fantastic. Special thanks to
K-Town in the house.
all of our
K-Town.
customers. And again, thank you everyone out there who likes to make things that don't exist in the world because they think they can make the world a better place by sharing and making. It makes this thing go.
You can love pink and also like electronics.
Yeah,
cool.
It's been working out for you.
I like pink and I like electronics. I got these little pink anti-step bags. I don't have silver anti-step bags. I have pink ones.
No one owns any specific color. You can do whatever you want with it. Okay, ready?
All right. See you next week.
Next week. Bye-bye. Oh, picture of MOSFET. And then here's your moment of Zener.